Mhm. Yes, Mbula Vinaka, everyone. Aloha, aloha from Hawaii.
Hola.
Mbula Vinaka. Vinaka vale usar na siya mamay wikim ni na ni takachukumay na wakararonga na kabi Vinaka ni kuwa. Kero sa siya mchika na marama biyo kanyongo na vuno wakaturango Hawaii na matin tulevu o Amerika. Naka Vinaka wakalibsara na nomuni soleme na nomuni ngauna. Meda may Talanoa wata na kabi Vinaka ni kuwa. Nandola ulutanga au talitak sa nga wakalevu. Au wakasamtaka chukumay nandola ngo ng balawu. Au sangay wakasamtaka. Au sana visuriti manda. Vi resto na marama ni viti. Rati ko may biti, karati ko talaga ipalangi. Meron ang wala man may may Talanoa, na ulo tangango ni ulo bakabiti, sena Buiniga. Marotak sar bakaliw na namuli siya mamay. Bula binaka Elijah. Elijah sa siya masarto nga bingobi na may Laie. Nakawali mo na siya mamay. Doon buli binaka na bubali ni Mercy ni Undamu. May na Green Slope Farm. May Nandi. Ngol tsaka na bakong buli bi communicate sar. Damaro taka ni siya mati kumingko na nando marama bulangi. Marama na ita o Grace Tueli. May bakang anak ni bakraw, anda na rongo naman ko na sere, may bakani marama tiko ni televu, na nanda marama bulangi na ngandi tiko kina, na sana bakaturang o televu, na sere totokongo iya. Wikim ni na bakarong tiko may kiro bakaraway tikongo, Hawaii. O klani sikat ang tiko may viti, iya, kiro marotaka ni rani kiro bakang bulay ni bikim ni todo kasara, na bula tabangaw ni siya mati kumikina, na siya kabi na kanikua, o klani sa oti tikong na vitu na tin karua na miniti. Naka bakalimsara na namuni siya mamay na kabi binakanikua. Sa totoo ka makoti na serongo dia sa makaturang o televu kaya waray na sangga mo taong balanga sa totoo ka makoti na serongo bite kubuna na nonda vitala no na kabina kan signi ko ongore tik tik buni kene tik buni na programo ulu tanga bo membaleta na maro tagi tigo sena limbitaki ni ulu wakaviti maro takasari ni waka iyo na nungu maramaneta Grace Tueli na kabina ni kuwa me tek butaka na betala nongo sar suriti tiko e bunga na nonda marama ngone lewa na nondra na ngole tiko me mer metala noa kawase na nondra dingi dingi kena tatandra membaleta na ulu bakaviti ninda kila ni na ulu ngo na bibuno kenda ngole na bisi burubura ende kile taninga na ulu nda bekenda na marama ni biti ndala bakambula sarngo ve na nonda marama bulagi ni mbole binaka marama nita Grace Tueli
Mpula Vinaka.
Sambulo-bulo vinakatigo na kavini kuwa?
Iyo.
Isa. Rani ba madal tak mata mai bena puno ni siya mati kumiki na kavini kuwa.
Mpula Vinaka usema sartu mai Laie ai Hawaii. Iyo.
Sa totoo pa ko. Tibi kam ni na barong tiko mai. Kero siya mati ko na marambyo ka ngo e Hawaii. Au tiko na yan ulewu o Hawaii na Big Island. O Grace tiko na yan o Oahu. Tiko na woli ko ki Honolulu Honolulu na kortura ki Hawaii totoka ba ko tilebu no tombara binuku bula-bula na yanu totoka o Oahu Grace roni ba madal te ki kimni manta weekend na ono ni da butumikina kena no muni kornivaso
Iya, don Mpula Vinaka na evango Grace Tueli wakangan nisa kunichiko Dr. Tarisi oyo na ngonelewa yoyo na ngonelewa ni kamba mbau maiteilevu au vasu chikunuguna kwe na marama ni nukuni ono ilau. Iyo.
sabi na ko nakabakalevu wala pa na bulo niya Suzuki na Grace
Aí, só daqui se você tchau, só não gostou can era você apertando sar chumai, ranga
Oi!
pniona sangalani. Iyo.
Dono, kunilenga. Oh, livro
Ah,
barang tu mai. Oh, yeah,
iyo.
okay, kunilenga. Yeah. Maybe if you can just explain where you were raised in Fiji.
Okay. I was raised in Mandi, Nanguta. My dad, he was working in the control tower, so we grew up around CAF compound in Namaka, and I've been there ever since up till getting married.
Yes. And in terms of your schooling, where did you go to school from primary to secondary?
So primary school, I went to Nandi Airport School, and it was just a walk away from home. High school, my mom and my dad, they sent me to Andivakumbao School from 3 to Form 6. And then I completed my Form 7 studies in Nandi Muslim College.
Hey, Savinaka. And after, well, when you were still in ACS, was there a particular job or an area of work you always dreamed to be part of when you finished school?
When I finished school, I always wanted to work for the airlines, I won't lie. Always wanted to be a flight attendant, but unfortunately, I never got the chance. Yeah.
Vinaka Wakalevu. And now you are, logging in from Laie on the island of Oahu. What made you move from Fiji to Hawaii?
What made me move? Okay, so my husband and I, Kero, we met at work, and we were both in the Fiji Airports Limited as a traffic control assistant. And when the pandemic hit, just right before that, I had resigned. And when the pandemic hit, it was a moment of reflection for, I guess, everybody, and including my husband and I. And we decided that I should return to school. So I continued in USP doing online classes, but you know how financially that can be expensive. We came across one program that the university that we're attending right now, Brigham Young University Hawaii, was offering, and is still offering, called the iWork program. And that is it. The long form for iWork is International Work Opportunity Returnability Kuleana. And this scholarship program, it covers students in the Oceania and the Pacific Eastern Asia rim. The main focus around the idea of this program is to allow students to come over to Hawaii, gain an education, and return home to help with the development of our country. So we're not the only Fijians here, my husband and I. This year, is the highest amount of Fijian students we have ever had. We have about 70 students in Laie right now.
Wow, that's a big number. So maybe would you like to do a shout out to them? I think many of them are listening, Grace.
Yes, a big shout out to all of you. I can hear some upstairs from my building. Vinaka.
Yes,
And aloha.
aloha. Yes, Vinaka Valim Grace. I think, what you just shared, it's really important in terms of, how life goes. At times, you make a turn, and you decided to make a change. And that's really wonderful, that you've taken the initiative to both of you to take on education. And how long is your study going to be here in Hawaii?
So our studies is 4 years. And after 4 years, if you find an opportunity to do an internship, you're most welcome to do an internship here in America. But if you find something back at home, then you're most welcome to go home. And the best thing about this scholarship program is that when we return home with our undergraduate program, we are debt-free. And that's what I love about it. Yes.
Yes, man, that's so good. And I know there will be a lot of our listeners, especially young couples like you, or maybe, those who've just left school. What would be your advice to them on how they can be part of that education program? I really like that pathway, especially,
Yes.
being paid for, and then after school, you are debt free.
Yes. So the program, as most of everyone knows, that it's a program that comes under the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and some may say that it's just for members only, but really we have a program that you can do online called the BYU pathway program, and that one too is free. It gives you the same education, and they have a lot of teachers, BYU pathway advisors that we have back at home in Fiji that can talk to you more about it. And I invite you, if you want to come, feel free to reach out. Yes.
Wow, Ray, the Vinaka Vakalevu. And I know the benefit of our Talanoa today, even though it's the focus on our beautiful Buiniga and our beautiful hair, what you have just shared, maybe the answer to some of the prayers of our listeners. They may be wanting to step out of their comfort zone and, go out overseas, and imagine coming over to Hawaii. There'll be a dream come true for many of our listeners. So for those of you who are listening in, if you're interested to take on the pathway of education that Grace has just talked about, please reach out to Grace via social media, or also via my page on Talanoa with Dr. T, and I can be able to connect you together, so she can be able to give you advice on who to talk to, in Fiji. Man, that's so exciting. And I know, Grace, that Mom has a farm called Green Slope Farm. And, it's always exciting to see, Mom's postings and talking about the farm and taking photos of the different plants, na bunchai, na buni-bundi, na be kakanatale so, totoko makawati. So have you been part of a farming dream, Grace?
When Mom moved up to the farm, that was before I got married, and yes, very much. As siblings, we'd go up, and I remember the farm when it was nothing, it was just like all bushes, and and the Fijian word for pulling weeds was ngavi. Ngavi will be pulling the weeds, and from what it was then to what it is now, it's been beautiful to see the changes over time. Yeah.
Wow, totoo ka saranga. So that would be something similar. Were you boarding in Antitakumbao with your cane knife?
Yes, very similar. I put it to use everything I learned.
So Vinaka Vakalevu. No, that's really, really encouraging to see your schooling, your upbringing through your dear parents, and now you have your own family, and now you're here in Hawaii. All right. So now let's go straight to the reason why we are doing the live today, and it is to do with our Fijian Buiniga. And I just have the first question I want to ask you, Grace. When did you or when did it start for you to have that Buiniga while growing up?
While growing up, I don't remember having any other hairstyle. I've had it since kindergarten, throughout primary school, and the only time I've changed my hairstyle is if I'm going to the hair salon with my father. And my father would take me to the barber shop and I come home with a bob cut. But then other than that, it has been Buiniga all throughout. So I guess about
Yes.
20 plus years. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. And maybe if I can ask the next question, like who motivated you, to, have that beautiful hair that you have right now?
I won't lie, and all my family and friends that are watching right now, they all know how my mother has always been. My mother, she would always sort of force me growing up, not force me, but these were the words she'd say, Gona kemu divi. And that's a Fijian statement. In English, it means this is who you are. And growing up, I used to fight my mother every time she is cutting my hair and she's telling me this. And I never understood it till way earlier, like way later in the years. But it was always my mother who would remind me, and she'll cut my hair and she'll be calling me that you are my Fijian princess. This is your Fijian crown. And I used to be so annoyed, that I wanted to try something different like my friends. But out of respect for my mother and seeing how much passion she had and how much she felt that was right for me, and like how our
Mm.
moms know us best, I'm grateful that I listened and I obeyed that request of hers to always keep my hair. Nakiangu indivi.
Yes, sa totoo bakawat. Wow. So if Mercedes Nyundamu is listening, I'm sure this is a really good testimony on how a mother's love and mother's influence on her daughter, Vinaka Bakaliw. And when you were growing up, maybe was it in primary school or secondary school in Nandita Kumbao, were you always having the Buiniga Grace?
Yes, all throughout primary school. Primary school, it changed a bit, but when I got to Andila Kumbao from Form 3, I saw how the teachers would react to my hairstyle and how I would be used for ceremonies where I would garland the chief guest. And so I started taking pride from that, and I never changed my hair throughout high school. I've always kept it. Yes.
Yes, man, that's so beautiful. And I know there's a lot of your classmates and many of your friends are also online. Thank you so much for everybody watching. And I'm just so glad that our programming made Grace to be the first lady on this program for the whole month of July. We'll be celebrating our Maramaniviti, our Nganeloniviti, who will be coming on the show just to share their testimony about their hair na ulunda baka viti so Grace, when you left under the kumbao and when you went to USP and even to work, did it ever occur to you, apart from mom's constant reminder, as you said earlier, you wanted to follow your friends? How did you navigate that space when you wanted to have the latest fashion and then you can hear mom's voice coming through about Nakemwindi Wingo Grace?
Okay. So throughout high school and college, it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. You would be teased. And because of the popular culture, I feel popular culture has a lot of influence on ideas and how people see things. And throughout the years, like the Buiniga hairstyle hasn't been received as the most best positive by both the Fijian society and even the Western influence. And for me, when I would consider, I did consider like wanting to perm my hair or trying to get the box braids. But when I really think about if I plan to do it tomorrow, I will think about it came down to who I am, and I just couldn't stomach the thought of what will I look like, And this has always been who I am. And then it was more of insecurity. Like if I do this, does it suit me? And then I would always rethink back and forth, and my mother's words would support me. But one time I did perm my hair, and that was during COVID, because I knew my mother wouldn't be able to leave her house to come and fetch me. So during the lockdown, I got my hair done right before the lockdown, and when I called her, she didn't talk to me for about 2 weeks. But I'm glad I tried it, and I would tell my husband that no, this isn't for me, even though it was easy to comb out when I wake up.
Yes.
but I couldn't wait to get my hair back. It just didn't feel like me. Just didn't feel like me.
Wow, Isa. So I know mom is listening right now, and I'm sure she'll be laughing at your comment. So when you permed your hair in between the 2 weeks that mom was refusing to talk to you, and apart from the fact that it was easy to navigate your Fijian comb, miserukau, how did it feel for you just to have that little bit of a difference from just a normal Buiniga to a little bit of a perm?
uh, I felt a bit fake. Even my kids, when my younger son woke up, he was trying to figure out, because I had my back to him and he was trying to figure out who's sleeping with him. That was a funny time. But yeah, it didn't feel, it felt a bit unreal for me.
Yes, and it's just wonderful again. I mean, you now mentioned that your husband, fully supports your winning. What was his reaction? When I'm sure you keep your winning all the way through. Has he always been supportive of that too?
Oh, yes, yes. My husband and everyone that's watching that knows me knows how much my husband loves me. And sometimes I take advantage of that, but he has loved me like this. My husband is, I've married outside of Fiji. I've ceded my life to the islands of Tuvalu. My husband is from Nanumanga in Tuvalu. And even though we're from different cultures, I love how he understands, and he loved me like this as a pure Fijian. And
Wow.
yeah.
Yes. And what about your in-laws and families from Tuvalu? What has been their reaction to see you with your beautiful Mbuninga?
I guess they would have never thought that my husband, would marry a pure Fijian. Like if you get to know my husband, not a pure Fijian is the word, but like a pure looking Fijian. No, they've never seen me any difference. My in-laws, they love me just as much they love him, and they always admire my hair as well. Yeah.
Yes, Vinaka Vakaliw. And I just want to go back to your point you mentioned when you were in Nandita Kumbao school, because of your hair, you had those opportunities to do the Vivak Salutake, the garlanding, and also the teacher's reaction to you was very uplifting and maybe positive. How did you feel at that time, being a young teenager, looking at, remembering how the teachers look at you and they smile? Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Oh yes, sure. I would always sense I could always sense pride from them, like something that is being revived, and that's what they would give off. And I never, because I'm fresh off primary school and I'm transitioning to high school, and this is the reaction I get. I came from a Western school, Nandiaport, and I go to a Fijian traditional school where they try and groom women of Fiji. And when I got those reactions, I'm like, okay, there's more to this hairstyle than what I just thought. To me, it was just respecting my mother. But then when I got to learn, and we even had mekes where they only allowed those with Buiniga to dance, to do the traditional meke, and everyone else who didn't have Buiniga, you would sit down and be part of the Nalanga Hudwe, chanting, singing the chants. So even that, sometimes I felt like it would be calling attention on me, but it was a fun time. My friends would make fun of my hair, but I wouldn't. I would fight back, but I always knew who I am and what my hair means to me.
Yes, I mean, that is so beautiful. You are very grounded. Yeah, you're very grounded. And I know mom is listening right now. Would you like to say something to mom, Grace?
Oh yes, for sure. When the photo that was used in the flyer for this, I sent it to my mom. It had to do something with academics, and when I sent it to her, my words to her was, "Ma, I thank you so much. I've come this far, and I just want to thank you for for always telling me to be confident of who I am." And those words are true words of my mother. She'll always tell me that, be who you are. Tila, you are my Fijian princess. And to my mom, now wherever you're watching from, you know how much you mean to me. And I love you and I miss you so much.
Sabi
Yeah.
na Vinaka Bakalew. Bolo Vinaka Merseni, and of course she's listening right now from Green Slope Farm to talk about Kaoti. And now that you know you're working at Laie, at the Polynesian Cultural Center, how much more is that you know the valuing of your Buiniga when you at the Fijian village?
Oh yeah, in the Fijian village, I remember, you know, when you come here to a foreign land, and this is where most Fijians, where you come away from home and you realize the beauty, the uniqueness of your culture, and then we start to, you know, when we were at home, we take it for granted. When we come here, we start pridefully expressing how much our love for the culture. And being in the Fijian village at the Polynesian Cultural Center, we'd have guests, not only Fijians, but most of our Indo-Fijians we know live in Canada and California. And when they come, they'd come to me and they'll tell me, they'll recognize the hair and they'll say, hey, the Buiniga, you know? And it was like, to me, it's like when I see my flag raised up during the Fiji Sevens game. It's very symbolic. And the way I react to that is the reaction that they would give to me. Yeah.
Yes, man, that's wonderful. Eh? So you are there, you know, representing Fiji, here at the Polynesian Cultural Center, but also everywhere else. How has been the reaction outside of PCC as well with your wedding when you come around to Honolulu or any other place?
Oh yeah. So one time when my husband and I just arrived, we took a walk, which is about 30 minutes, 20 minutes walk from here to another town where the shops were. It was because we had to go get our COVID shot and we didn't want to cause inconvenience to anyone. So we took a walk, and that's something unusual because it's the highway, and the highway here in America, we know what the speed is like. So we were walking with our kids in the pram, and we were on our way to Haula, to the next little town. When we got there, I was telling my husband, I wish someone picks us up and takes us back home. And we were just new, we didn't have a SIM card on our phone. So we got our COVID shots. While my husband was in line, I was walking through the aisles just looking at the products. One lady comes up to me and she goes, are you from Fiji? And then I turned and I was like, yes, I am from Fiji. Did you walk here? And I said, I did walk here. How do you know? I was on my way home and I saw you and I saw your hair. And I was like, this is a new Fijian family. Why are they walking this far? My dear, we do not walk like this on the main road, especially with the kids. So she waited for us. And I later learned she's married to a Fijian. Her name is Sister Lesuma, Mrs. Lesuma. So she waited for us and she took us back home. And yeah, that's an example of how much weight the hair carries, you know, those that know the culture. And there was another time when I came back from the beach, we went to the same shop. There was a Kaivalani guy looking at me and just like smiling, and he followed me, and I was like, okay, this is weird. So when I turned, I was like, hey, did you need something? And he goes, I'm sorry, are you from Fiji? And I said, yes, I'm from Fiji. And he said, oh yeah, na watching we Kaiviti. And he's a Kaivalani. And I was like, oh, how did you know I was Fijian? And he's like, I saw the hair. And I said, hey, that's the Buiniga. Yeah, we were so happy. We talked a bit. And yeah, I guess that's something, how significant the Buiniga and how people can react outside of where I'm working, yeah, in general.
Wow, that's wonderful. Eh? Look at all the benefits, yeah, that it brings in terms of the people you meet.
Yeah.
Wow. Sa totoo ko rong pinakandida na no mo we were saying ko totoo ko even the lady that saw you guys walking on the road and that turangan ni balangi. Now when it comes to like most some people they have their toiletry bag with all the different chemicals and things inside. What would be your toilet bag look like, or your where you put your cream and things like that for your hair?
My toilet bag would just be my Fijian comb, nung sirwahwiti. Sometimes I use gel, especially if it's a windy area, but other than that, it's just my comb. And that's something I'm grateful for, and I'm watching other girls prepare their hair. All I'm doing is just combing it out.
So it's easy to maintain.
Yeah.
The only thing you have is just have that special comb that you're gonna carry with you. So
Yeah.
Vinaka Vakalevu. And I know this a lot of our young ones, listening in, or even young parents, who have daughters. What would be your maybe just words of encouragement? First of all, maybe to young girls watching who have the Buiniga, because I know you've shared your experience, especially the pressure from your, peers to be like everyone else. What would you give? What advice would you give to the young ones, young girls?
My advice to the younger ones. My advice to the younger ones is to understand how much pride and how much pride wearing the Buiniga means. And I know that with the influence of so many things going around us, there can be times where you feel like you want to, go on with the trend, change my hairstyle for this. But remember who you are, that you're a Fijian, and I would encourage more young Fijian, even men, to if you decide to wear it, wear the Buiniga, and that no one is perfect. Everyone, we all have our weaknesses and faults, because the Buiniga, it also has like when you have the Buiniga, there's expectations to it. So don't ever feel like these expectations is to weigh you down to change your hairstyle. No one is different. No one is the same. We are all different. Wear that Buiniga with pride, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Sa Vinaka Vakalevu. And I know there are also some parents. So you've spoken to the young girls, and I know there's many responding right now. What about to the parents who have daughters?
To the parents who have daughters, well, I would I have my own daughter, and sometimes I think about, what I'm gonna tell her if, and if for young girls, if I ask my daughter, do you want my hair, or I point to my friend that has long hair, of course she'll choose the friend that has long hair. It's the popular culture. But for parents, if you know that, if this is something that you've always wanted in your kids, and especially it would differ from daughters because of the hair texture. But if you know that your daughter's hair texture is perfect for for them Buiniga, to have them Buiniga, I would encourage you to teach more about it. How much, like what my mother would tell me, "Ngona ke mwindivi." This is who you are. You're a Fijian woman, yeah. So, but again, it comes down to different parenting. But I would really encourage, if the hair texture is perfect, then go for it.
Sendina todo ko Vinaka. Vinaka valim Sarah Grace. Viva ka ungetin din na namuve o se ni kua. And just for you sharing your experiences, the challenges, particularly as young people, as a youth, as a teenager, that pressure you talked about, I could feel it as well. I was very much the same like you when it comes to, being like someone else, or being like, other people. But I'm very much the same. So my mother as well had the same story with me. And I know my two sisters, they will be listening too. My older sister, is very different from me. She loves all the fashion. Any new hairstyle, my sister is there. For me, I have always have the bleeding eye, and sometimes even for my sister, she always tell me, oh, you live overseas, you should try and put some chemicals in your hair, or make yourself look like the people that you live with over there. But it's something just within me, like what you said and what mom said, just to be true to yourself. And I think for me, I feel too that I don't have to change my hair just to fulfill someone's wishes. I have to fulfill what I wish for myself, and especially your mother. Yeah. To talk about it. Wow. And there's so many of your friends connecting in today. And I know there's a lot of non-Fijians who are also watching, especially your colleagues at PCC and those in Fiji. What would you like to share to them just for the importance of being a Fijian woman with Fijian Buiniga?
What would you like to share? I would like to share how much the Fijian Buiniga is symbolic to my culture. And I just switched jobs from the Fiji village to being a tour guide at the Polynesian Cultural Center. And most recently, I've had a lot of those outside of the Polynesian culture come up to me and ask me, how do I maintain my hair? And I have to go on to share with them what my hairstyle means. It's not just an afro, it's our traditional Fijian hairstyle. And this is what it's a sense of pride for us and for those, just like a flag. If you see if you see your own country flag, it's a symbol of your culture and you have that emotional attachment. And I feel the Buiniga has that same emotional effect on others. And yeah, it's part of our culture. And I think a lot of people don't know this much. They see it as an afro, but when they learn about the Buiniga and the history behind it, they appreciate it more and understand, how it's connected to Fiji. Yeah.
Sa totoo ko bakauti. Lele besar korban politiko mai takabaka levo Elijah and apitora do bulu Vinaka la semati ko mai Laie Vinaka vale besar bikim do rabio kan do semati ko mai na yan no oahu Hawaii totoo ko na mundo bito ko nito ko mai na nero Talanoa wata ke Grace Tueli. Grace, before we conclude our sharing today, is there anything else you would like to share in terms of your education or any other interesting topic or anything you want to share to our listeners before we conclude our Talanoa session?
Yeah, I just wanted to share. First of all, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Naksarvale, we came to Kerna, Gumatuvale, came to But I wanted to share as we're talking on the topic of Buiniga, the importance of our culture, the importance of maintaining and upholding our values, our beliefs and traditions. For me, it's sad to see that we come away from our countries when we appreciate more of our culture. It would be beautiful if we have this same sense of pride back at home, For me, I've come to the Fiji village, Uncle Apitora that's watching, Uncle Sainai Balu, Elijah even. I've come here and I've gotten to learn about my own culture that I would have learned back at home, And that, for me, that was sort of sad. I could have taken the initiative to go up to my village, and ask my uncles and aunties the same things that I've been taught here in foreign land. Yeah. But yes, love your culture, learn as much as you can, especially from our elders before they pass on. And let's try and also understand other people's culture. I think in understanding other people's culture, we learn so many other lessons. We learn to be understanding, learn to show compassion, empathy, and love. And I feel that, like we always say in Fiji, Fiji the way the world should be. There will be more peace and understanding and love throughout the whole world if we do this. Thank you.
Sir Grace, I think on behalf of so many of us, I'm surprised the number of devices that are live today. I'm just so touched by it, and I know many of them are through your connections, Grace. I'm just so grateful that we can have this platform, that we can be able to, openly share and celebrate our culture and our identity, and particularly for our Maramanibiti, our Fijian women, if they're able to have them Buiniga, is to wear it with pride. Sarah Grace, I know Mom is listening. Any other shout outs to your cousins in Nandi?
Yeah, all my love to everyone from home, Nandi, all my siblings. Thank you for always supporting me, and to all my friends back at home and here as well in Hawaii. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Dr. Tarisi, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Mundo. Thank you very much, Grace, for taking the time out, from your family time. It's Saturday evening here in Hawaii. For those of you who are listening from Fiji, it's Sunday in Fiji, but it's Saturday here. But we're just so grateful that Grace can take time away from her family so she can come and have this Talanoa session with me. Sarah Grace, all the very best with your studies at BYU, and I look forward to meet you one day soon.
Nakavalevu.
Wata kumanda naka made Nakavakalevu. Thank you so much to everybody who are listening in this beautiful Sunday evening. It's 10 minutes to 8, in Fiji. Vinaka Vakalevu for joining in with our Talanoa session with our first guest on the Buiniga, Fijian Buiniga series. We have a lineup of Maramani Viti from Fiji and also overseas. Many have expressed their interest to come on my program. So when they are going to come on live, I will create a poster and share it with you all. So on that note, I just wanted to encourage everybody, if you know a niece or an aunt or a relative of yours who have the Fijian Buiniga and they deserve to come and have their Talanoa session with me, please send them my way, and I would love to take the time to also Talanoa and share the inspiration, because you never know how their story can impact on other people as well. Nakavakalevu, and to our young women out there, be proud of who you are, as what Grace has just shared with us today. Our culture, being a Fijian, is very unique and very special, and we can, uphold that and remain your identity to be strong wherever you are in any part of the world, particularly for those of you too in our beautiful Fiji. Nakavakalevu, au savakumadyan vikem ni ang bong vinakanikoa, nakavakalevu na namuli siya mamay ni Samuel Mata.